What is the difference between potential and actualization? Why you become what you are and not what you want? There is a moment almost everyone reaches on a conscious path where they feel suspended. They can see what's possible, they can sense another life, another version of themselves, and yet nothing fully lands. They visualize, they affirm, they try to manifest, but the reality doesn't quite arrive. Let's talk about why. We will view it from the perspective of quantum physics, metaphysical science, and the lived mechanics of the field, because the gap between potential and actualization is not effort, it's coherence. The problem is, we're living in potential without embodiment. Potential's intoxicating. It feels expansive, hopeful, charged. Potential says, this could happen. I could become this. My life could look like that. And for a while, living in potential feels like progress. But potential alone does not create reality. It creates suspension. Many people get stuck here, not because they lack power, but because they confuse possibility with arrival. There's a quantum foundation, the field of potential. In quantum physics, before measurement, a system exists in superposition, not as one outcome, but as many. The electron is not here or there. It exists in probability. This is the quantum field of potential. But here's the crucial part. Potential is not reality. Reality emerges only when the system collapses into a definite state. And collapse does not happen through wanting. It happens through interaction. Understanding the observer effect and why it's misunderstood. The observer effect is often misinterpreted as thoughts create reality. But that's incomplete. The observer is not just the mind. The observer is the entire system. The body, the nervous system, our emotional field, our identity, our expectation, our history. Reality responds not to what you imagine, but to what you're being while imagining. You don't collapse reality with desire, you collapse it with coherence. Why does manifestation fail? Most manifestation teachings focus on visualizing outcomes, emotional hype, future projection. Ignore the present state signal. If your nervous system is anxious, your field is broadcasting instability. If your identity feels unworthy, your field broadcasts mismatch. If your body is braced for disappointment, your field collapses towards safety, not expansion. The universe does not respond to words, it responds to frequency. Potential energy versus lived energy. In physics, potential energy is stored energy. It has the capacity, but no motion. Kinetic energy is movement, expression, embodiment. Many people live their spiritual lives entirely in potential energy. They feel charged, inspired, open, but they don't move. They don't choose differently. They don't embody new identity. They don't reorganize their lives. So the energy never converts. Potential without action becomes frustration. The metaphysical error. Here's a subtle trap. People try to manifest a future identity while still inhabiting the old one. They say, I want abundance from a state of scarcity. I want love from a state of self-abandonment. I want purpose from a state of fear. But the field doesn't speak English. It reads state. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you're stabilized in. The harmonic sage mechanism, the correction. Within the framework of the harmonic sage mechanism, actualization happens when three layers align. The body is the body regulated or braced. A braced body collapses possibility. A regulated body allows expansion. The emotional field. Are emotions allowed or suppressed? Suppressed emotion fragments the signal. Coherent emotion stabilizes it. Identity. Who are you being right now? Identity sets the boundary conditions for reality. When these align, potential converts into lived experience. The door that never opens. Imagine standing in front of a door that leads to the life you want. You knock, you visualize the door open, you imagine walking through, but your hand never turns the handle because the door is not locked. It opens from your side when your state matches the room beyond it. Destiny doors don't open to wanting, they open to compatibility. Why actualization feels scarier than potential? Potential feels safe. You can imagine without consequence. Actualization requires commitment, risk, reorganization, letting go of old identities. This is why people stay dreaming for years. Not because they can't manifest, but because manifestation requires becoming. And becoming means loss. Loss of the old self. The shift from future to present. The moment that changes everything when you stop asking, how do I get there? And start asking, what does alignment look like today? Not the final version, today. Actualization is built through present moment coherence, small choices, embodied actions, identity consistent behavior. Reality responds to now. The frequency of alreadiness. Here's the paradox. If you don't act as if your dream has arrived, you act from a state of someone who belongs in that reality, not pretending, stabilizing. Calm instead of urgency, integrity instead of grasping, movement instead of fantasizing. This is the frequency of already, and it collapses potential into form. The observer becomes the system. In quantum terms, the observer and the observed are entangled. In life, you and your reality are entangled. Change the observer state and the system reorganizes, not magically, mechanically. The solution? An actualization practice. Instead of asking, what do I want? Ask, what state would make this inevitable? Then embody that state in small ways. Speak differently. Choose differently. Rest differently. Create differently. Reality follows identity, always. Here's a final truth. Potential is sacred, but it's not meant to be lived in. It is meant to be entered, converted, and released. You're not here to hover in possibility. You're here to become coherent enough that reality has no choice but to meet you. You do not become what you want. You become what you are. And when who you are matches who you've been sensing, potential stops hovering and life begins.